You don't have the space, you don't have the
Right,
latitude.
right.
But it's okay. We'll be here for about a month, right?
Yes, we'll be here for about
Our
a month.
way, yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be massive, really. What's coming will be massive. Let's start with the Vanguard newspaper. This story here reads, Presidential poll, why tribunal rejected live coverage.
Yeah, I had a very strong feeling that this was going to happen. Indeed, I was one of those who advocated that we, not for want of denying people the opportunity to see what's going on, but that in truth, it was my very strong belief that most of us who are not lawyers don't understand, the things that go on in the court. And therefore, the last thing you want is somebody playing to the gallery. I had an argument with Komi yesterday, and he said that in Kenya and some other country, that they had live proceedings of the Supreme Court and so on and so forth. And I said, well, I don't think those two other countries have a virile social media like we have, that is subject to all kinds of interpretations and all kinds of mischief. For example, at the launching of the Dangote refinery yesterday, Asiwaju was supposed to be there, and so I just went and asked on Twitter, does anybody know why he didn't come? I mean, because it was a major event, and yes, and it had been advertised that he was going to be there. And I wondered where else he could be but there yesterday. Other heads of states were there. And so what then happened? A barrage of abuses, a barrage of... I mean, that was a very simple thing. So you don't want that kind of thing with the, with witnesses and so on and so forth. So I think on that premise, yes, but let's see what the appeal court said yesterday. The appeal court held that no regulatory framework or policy direction permitted it to grant such application, adding that allowing cameras in the courtroom is a major judicial policy that must be supported by law. I think that's a nice escape route for the court. It's not supported by law. I thought that it probably would be a matter of discretion, but the panel says no, it has to be supported by law. And the judges, my Lord Justice Isamani, he said that the court can only be guided and act in accordance with the practice directions and procedures approved by the President of the Court of Appeal. We cannot permit a situation that may lead to dramatization of our proceedings, Justice Samani said. Besides, the court held that the request was not part of any relief in the petitions before it. It wasn't stated there, and said it was merely hinged on a sentimental claim that it would benefit the electorate. It maintained that the petitioners failed to establish how televising the proceedings would advance their case, adding that such a live broadcast would not add any utilitarian value. That's why I don't read the news. Right. Utilitarian value to the determination of the petitions. More so, it noted that such a live broadcast must be planned and budgeted for. Then an alarm went on in my head that that's true. Who's going to foot the bill? Who's going to foot the bill, bringing in cameras and getting the place ready? And it says that while assuming the parties that it would secure their right to a fair hearing as enshrined, while assuring the parties that it would ensure their right to a fair hearing as enshrined in the Constitution as amended, the court held that it found no reason to grant the application, which it described as novel and unprecedented. So I've taken what I've done is to bring a lawyer at 9 o'clock and then to go through this once and for all and then, bury it. What I would want is that we've wasted up to a week on these proceedings now, Sheriff. Yeah. Because I think the earlier we have a resolution of this case, the better it will be for everybody. So that's what happened. Let me read the riders. It says it's not backed by regulatory framework or policy direction. It notes we can't permit dramatization of our proceedings. Tinubu APC opposed move to consolidate Atiku and Obi's petitions. Consolidation will expedite action. Atiku, PDP, INEC. We leave it to court's discretion, Obi Labour Party. We have only one witness, APM tells court. 2 days to present evidence against Tinubu. And also another rider here, tribunal asked Obi to reduce 7 weeks demand. And of course, what the other ones that I read. So that's what we have from the whatever yesterday from the panel.
Right. Let's move on to our next story quickly now. This story from the Vanguard, page 5, reads $21 billion revenue, 100,000 jobs coming from our refinery. Aliko Dangote.
As everything in life, people have different feelings about the Dangote refinery. That various. I was just listening to one this morning talking about how we had to import so much steel while our steel mills were lying fallow. But Dangote is a private businessman, and if he must move he must. He's not going to be waiting for you to get your steel mills working before he moves and does what he wants to do. And I saw an interview with Tedola yesterday. I can't remember where, one of the networks, and he was saying that, look, Dangote and I and a few other people bought the Port Harcourt refinery. It was overruled. The Port Harcourt refinery is not working till today, and here we have a brand new refinery. There's enough to be critical about, but you cannot say that this would have no benefit whatsoever. I think the benefits are more than the criticisms, if you ask me. Yes, the refinery was opened yesterday. It says that the first products would hit the market in July. And I think why the government is so sure that they won't be paying subsidies again is because once this comes on stream, I expect it to take care of our PMS needs and other byproducts. I expect that to happen. And Buhari called it a game changer. Emefiele says that facility will impact Nigerian economy positively. And Sanwo-Olu says Lagos provides opportunities for investors. I must caution the governor, about some things. We need to be careful what we say in public. The governor is quoted to have said, and I think it's also on tape, that Dangote came to Lagos with nothing. Excuse me. Dangote, if anybody wants to know, is the grandson of the great Dan Tata, who at one time was the richest man in the country. And he didn't come to Lagos with nothing. To the best of my mind, I've known Aliko Dangote since like the 80s. And he's in his 60s now. I mean, that's what a man. Okay. And I've always known him to live in his house in Victoria Island. Way back, right opposite Uncle Femi Okuno. That's where he's always lived. And so we need to be careful the words that we use in public. I think he deserves an apology for that. He didn't just stroll into Lagos. I hear he speaks impeccable Yoruba. I used to know him when he was hanging out those days in Surulere with Tunji Shoneko and all, So to describe Dangote as somebody who came to Lagos with nothing, I think it's not insulting because it wasn't intended, but I think it's a bit derogatory, and I think an apology to the man would be quite appropriate. Dangote did not come. He did not. If I did not come into this world, if not, you know what Yorubas call Lobo Leni? He did not even come into the world with nothing. I think that has to be corrected. So yesterday, yes, I saw the president of Ghana and I saw the president of Togo. I reflected a bit when I saw the president of Togo and said to myself, this gentleman took over from his dad about 20 years ago. And I wonder what kind of politics is being played right there. But I mean, hey, these people are happy. Everybody is moving on with that. So what do we have now? Dangote said that the project was the realization of a clear opportunity for Nigeria, citing the African Union's commitment to the creation of an African common market through African continental free trade, AfCFTA. I think that's what
AfCFTA.
AfCFTA. So you can't call it in one word. Let me try now. AfCFTA. Anyway, the facility is expected to produce PMS diesel. I hope as it produces diesel, the cost of diesel will crash. I don't know if it will. What do you think?
I think everything will be sold at international price.
Yes, but there are some costs that are off the whatever.
Oh yes,
Shipping costs are out.
Shipping will be out of it.
Yes.
Importation costs will be out of it.
Out of
All of
it.
those things will be out of it.
Yes, and you'll be buying with local currency. I hope.
I hope. Yeah, we're not sure yet. I hope.
Well, the law doesn't allow you trade in dollars. The monetary laws don't allow you trade in dollars. That's why airlines, for example, cannot sell their tickets in dollars.
In dollars. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I mean, there's a lot of benefit. The least of it being the only God knows how many jobs. But when I heard the issue of the jobs yesterday, and I asked myself, so where are they going to live? Will some people be coming from Fadeyi to go all the way to Dangote refinery to get there for 8 o'clock in the morning? When they close, how? You see, we don't do things pari passu.
No, I don't think the Dangote issue is like that. It's the size of that place is, I think, 5 times the size of Victoria Island.
Yes.
So they have.
Do they have staff quarters?
They have staff quarters. Yes, they do.
For drivers and things.
And
the lower cadre.
I'm certain that they've taken care of it. I'm very, very certain that they've taken care of it. Because I think people started working at that site some years ago. So
but at that time, the refinery was being built. And those workers were not necessarily Dangote workers. These are construction. So they probably live on site.
Yeah, but there will be senior engineers as well.
No, those will be taken care of.
Who will not be far from site as well.
Those will be taken care of. I'm just thinking that wouldn't it have been nice if at the time Dangote was building this refinery, either the state or federal government had set up a tram service to take care of that access. Also, movement of cargo.
It's not a bad idea.
Movement of cargo. It would have been nice. I don't think I've seen an oil tanker on the streets of London. I can't remember. I don't think I've ever seen one. I don't think so. Maybe there is. I don't think so. And therefore, the other things that should have gone hand in hand with the project from the government side really hasn't been done. And I dread anyone who lives on that axis now.
I pity.
I pity them. Yeah. They're going to be in for. They're going to be in for it, like we would normally say.
Because as it stands right now, we actually do not have a rail line connecting that Dangote refinery to maybe a Papa port or to
even for export.
So for exports there are keys. The
water was sorry.
That's been taken care of, and it can take as I mean, even the larger ship it can take.
Well, maybe for other parts of the country, which we really should be doing, it would go by sea, some should go by rail.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to explain to myself the rationale in filling a 35,000 litre tanker here and taking it all the way to Maiduguri.
By road.
It doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. But I'm hoping that this is the beginning of good stuff for the country.
I think so.
It's my greatest hope that this would translate into better prosperity for people, improved prosperity for people, not just Lagosians, but everybody who is willing to do business.
I mean, hey,
in Lagos.
Just sit back and think of all the rackets that are gone into this so-called subsidy thing, and it just all of a sudden the money is available for development. But our boys don't work in it anymore. They look for another way. One don't work in. You see, we have a problem with that. A caller called in this morning.
Yeah.
I said I was going to call your attention to it. I can't remember exactly what he was talking about, but at some point he said something like, so that those who are chopping it can be chopping at government level, while other people can be chopping it at local government level. And I said, what kind of tolerance for corruption do we have? That subsidy money, that bulk that a lot of these guys have been eyeing, they're going to find another way to wipe it off the. We just have a bunch of criminals close to power in this country, and unless we have a leader who is ready to turn his back on them, we'll continue to be the way we are. They'll find another way to lay their hands
And
on
that's scary because I am of the opinion that I share your sentiment.
Yes.
In fact, I was on my live this morning and I was telling people that look, the guys that are in charge of the subsidy will not just fold their arms and
They won't
just
fold
let
their
it
hands.
go.
No, it's a big all your a lot of your big guys. That's what they live on.
Yeah.
They live on government. You find them wearing fine suits, driving the most expensive cars. Where's their office? Okay, they find fine offices. Where's the file? What are they doing? That's what they live on. Our country is so porous on the economic front. It's so porous that it's there for the taking. From the multiple exchange rates to subsidies to whatever. Our boys, they find a way to get that one again. And we are so criminally minded, as a people. That's the honest word truth. They still lay their hands on it. So it's not yet El Dorado. Until we have a leader who will be completely intolerant. And that's going to be tough because how would he emerge?
It will be tough.
He will need a lot of look at what is happening now. The stories that are making the rounds at National Assembly level of the money going up and down. Okay.
Oh, well, we wish the Dangote refinery best of luck.
No, we wish him all the best.
Yeah.
We wish him all the best.
Let's go to page 12. And the story here reads, Okowa signs 71 billion naira supplementary appropriation bill.
I'm not saying this money is to be waxed. That's not what I'm saying. But what is the optics you get from this? Less than a week.
Supplementary new.
Supplementary in here, that's fidi here. It's fidi here. 71 billion. And you have a week to go. I mean, what? Okay, yes, if you look inside, there'll be some official reason for it. There'll be some official reason for it. But the optics just doesn't sound right, Sheriff. It doesn't look good. No matter what you claim you want to use it for, surely you could pass the file to the next guy.
That's right.
To see whether it's going to be his own priority. Right. It says the governor last Tuesday forwarded a letter containing the supplementary budget proposal, which comprised 65.5 billion for capital expenditure. And 5.6 as recurrent. That's 5.6. Maybe that would be governors' pensions and things like that.
And things like that.
5.6 billion, and then capital expenditure is exactly what it says. You need to buy certain things or award certain contracts and so on and so forth. 1 week to the time.
Yeah. 1
week to the time. And he assented to 8 other bills. After signing, Okowa said he commended the State House Assembly for its support and cooperation. Of course, he must have carried them along, if you get what I mean. And so he got support from the House of Assembly and thanked them for the cooperation. And he said that we have had a very robust House of Assembly and we will continue to remain proud of his achievements. It would be nice if we did a vox pop in the state and find out if the citizens of the state think so likewise. It would be interesting.
It would be interesting, Abby.
Yes. And he says that even in the last days of this administration, with a week to go, it has continued to work so hard to ensure good governance in the state by making appropriate legislation that would impact on the lives of our people. The question is the impact positive or negative? Yes. And so it says that is why this morning you have witnessed the signing of several legislations that were passed by the House of Assembly. And so the ceremony went, and the 71 billion is available for capital projects and the current expenditure.
I'm of the opinion that we pay too much attention to the center. We let governors get away with so many things, even though they're the closest to us. But we usually decide we focus more on the center, maybe by the way of the structure, the government of Nigeria is structured, but it still doesn't take away the fact that I really do not think we're doing enough to hold our governors accountable.
I don't think it's a question of the political system. Rather, I think it has to do with the mindset that all of us have. And we're all complicit. If you expect somebody to give you money during the election, surely you must go get the money from somewhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? And what it has done now is that it's gone completely haywire. And our people have been docile. They have been completely docile. There are things that you would expect people to do, even within the law, to make sure that these kind of things don't happen. Rather, we'd go to church and pray that God, or to the mosque and pray that God in his infinite mercies will come and save us. God is not going to save anybody. If what were we told when we were in school? Sheriff, do you remember? He says heaven helps those who help themselves. Nigerians need to get up and stand up and reject all these things. They need to do that. Who does this? A week to your exit, 71 billion, 60 something for capital. What capital project? Excuse me. Even recurrent is what? Recurrent should have been in the budget all along anyway.
Right.
Do you understand that? It should have been in the budget anyway. But we are all complicit. In one story that I marked there, for example, some Obas are now asking for, they're asking they're calling on Tinubu that, Obas need to have a fixed, the Obas should be carried along, that part of the security, can you imagine, the Obas have a meeting and then say, part of the security vote of the governor should be passed to them. What is your business with this? What is your business with the security vote?
But this also, it further underscores how they see the Commonwealth.
How everybody, when people are praying, okay, Sheriff, let me ask you, why would you be doing a Thanksgiving when you've been called upon to serve your people?
Exactly.
What exactly on that Thanksgiving when all your relatives take Ankara, you don't have babes. Your babes, everybody, they take you don't have it. Your babes, all of them, Ankara running up.
It's a lie, I have babe.
You have babes. Somebody was warning me last week that don't get Sheriff into trouble. Why
but that thing you said it's really
yes,
why are you celebrating?
What are you celebrating? Why do you know? I say this and I say it with a bit of hurt in me. I do not have it on history. Nobody has told me that Awolowo parted with a penny. Rather, Awolowo he provided for all and allowed people to retain their dignity. And people are happy to be beggars. They're very happy. They've become shameless. They would beg you for it. There's now, we've built a sense of entitlement to other things. How can Jimi say that he won't give me? Was I not the one who the day his tire went down, was I one of the one? We have this kind of sense of entitlement. And it goes all the way from top to bottom. People say our leaders are leaders. Our leaders are amongst us. We've been talking our leaders for 30 years. Some of us who are children at 30 years ago have now become adults. We are still talking our leaders. It's from within us. Have we ever, until we have somebody, we need a crazy leader one day who will say that, look, I want to probe all funds that are spent during the election. Or let's even have what's that to put up panel? Let's have
a panel of inquiry.
A panel of inquiry, okay, just at least to, you'll be amazed at what.
Let's do some fact finding. Let's
fact finding. Yeah. You will be amazed. The politicians will tell you that, what do you want me to do? This election, I had a budget of $2 million or $3 million. Half of it, I got it from Chief Kokonsari, who is an oil merchant. So now that I'm here, you think I won't open the door for subsidy? And that's the way it goes round. That's why I was surprised when I saw some Southwest Obas, of all their demands, they said they wanted powers, they wanted executive powers, they want to run courts, but they made a reference to security votes. Not to security. Security votes. Are you?
Yeah. We have to go. That's the much we can take, and I think we've said enough, so people can think again as to how.
Well, we'll keep saying it. If we like, let us wallow in ignorance. We'll pay for it. See where we are now. See how impoverished we are. People can't stand there. You now have to go cap in hand to beg the big man to help you pay your school fees. You now say, "Oh, he's a very generous man." That's the part that he's a very. Who won't be generous with other people's money?
Lagos, that's our show. Thank you so much for coming, sir. Lagos, we're going to go now. At 8, we have the news for you. Stay with us, please.
Whenever I'm a full-time master student and a content creator, they go, huh? How are you able to do both all at once? You bewitch? No be juju. Na MTN 5G. Everything on cloud 9. I get to take my classes online in real time and upload my videos before you say.
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those that need to be fired are fired. It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not a